Hey guys, welcome back to the Hub. Today I wanted to present to you a simpler, more convenient summary of the newly refreshed catalysts that dropped with Season 13, Season of the Chosen. So instead of making 9 different videos, I'm going to shine some light on how to get these catalysts, what they do, and then get some short thoughts about them all in one video. My goal here is to provide a little more insight than just a list of how to get them, and maybe actually help you prioritize what you should get first. If you're not interested in any of that, I'm also going to just list the catalysts in the description so you can glance at it if that's what you'd rather do. And before I get into that, if you find this video helpful, maybe consider subscribing, leave a like, a comment. I'd love to hear how the drop rates are for you guys on these catalysts. Starting off with the top of the list, a classic in both Destiny 1 and now Destiny 2, Bad Juju. The exotic catalyst for this one can be found doing strikes in the Vanguard playlist and drops randomly. Although I will say that this catalyst did drop for me the very first strike that I did this season, so there's a pretty good chance you've already tuned me out since you already have the catalyst. The perk for the catalyst states that it extends the duration of String of Curses. I believe this extension is around 1 second, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Either way, pretty decent catalyst since String of Curses is like better Rampage. You get extra super energy, and anytime you can make a perk like that last longer in between kills is always a good thing. However, what I will say is that Bad Juju is clearly designed to be used in PvE more than PvP. It can work in the Crucible, it's just really not ideal. And the other problem that Bad Juju deals with is that PvE is kind of in a meta where exotic special weapons and heavy weapons are the only real choice, so this isn't necessarily a great option. But if you want your super more often, it'll definitely do the job. Next on the list, we have Izanagi's Burden, a very welcome re-addition to the game for those who missed it the first time around. While it doesn't really say clearly on the Collections tab, you can grab this one from doing any playlist activities such as Strikes, Crucible, or Gambit. Hopefully a lot less grindy than completing the entire Chalice of Opulence, but it's hard to say since it's RNG based. That said, I wouldn't worry about it too much since it seems like Bungie has the drop rates on these catalysts fairly high. I got several of them within playing the first few hours of this new season. As for the actual perk on the catalyst, it just increases the damage of Hone to Edge times 4 by 20%. So when you have a full mag and you combine it into one shot, it does 20% extra damage. This is a fantastic perk, as that extra damage can help significantly during damage phases or helping to take out champions in higher level nightfalls. It's just always going to be useful. Alright, moving on, we've got Sleeper Simulant up next. This old vet from Destiny 1 returned a few years back and is, well, completely mediocre. Nonetheless, you can get the catalyst from playing in the Vanguard Nightfall playlist, and activating it grants larger ammo reserves as well as accelerated coils, which cuts down on the charge time just a little bit. Like I said, there are no situations in which I'm aware that Sleeper Simulant is meta, so I wouldn't push too much for this one unless you just really like the gun, which is fair because it looks pretty awesome. Linear fusion rifles are just in a terrible place right now, so it's hardly worth using. For our next gun, we've got one of my personal favorites, Bad Juju the SMG. No, but really, kind of weird. They do the same thing minus the super energy, right? Huckleberry was one of the only guns to escape the Shadowkeep damage perk massacre, so its version of Rampage is actually much more potent than Rampage you'd see on any other gun, which gives it a pretty unique edge. That said, you can get this catalyst from playlist activities just like Izanagi's Burden. Hopefully if you don't already have this catalyst, you'll be lucky enough to get it soon because it's pretty good. The perk states that instead of refilling only part of the magazine on a kill, it refills the whole magazine. This is a great thing to have when the exotic perk Ride the Bull kicks up your rate of fire and Rampage times 3 is in full force. It just keeps the pain train moving. As much as I like Huckleberry, it still suffers from the same issue that Bad Juju does, as well as most other primary exotics do. It's a primary, and they're generally just not as useful as specials or heavies in PvE. So after that mixed review, we've got Worldline Zero, every speedrunner's favorite tool. Pretty sure for this one, you just have to have the weapon at some point and then get kills around the system. The Catalyst perk allows the teleport attack to become available sooner after sprinting, which is nice, I guess. Inside of practical everyday gameplay, I doubt this is helpful for much, but I'm sure it's great for people who actually know what they're doing. As for damage, I think it's pretty obvious there are better choices, so I don't ever use this thing. Another weapon from the Warmind expansion back in 2018 with a newly acquirable catalyst is Polaris Lance. The catalyst drops from regular playlist activities like a few others on this list, so fortunately you'll be able to knock out a few of these without trying all that hard. Activating the catalyst adds the perk Dragonfly to this weapon, which is fitting. I mean, no reason not to have more explosions. Unfortunately, I can't really give much insight into this weapon since I've never really used it. I completed the quest months ago and vaulted it immediately. It doesn't look all that useful, to be honest, except for maybe this season since it has anti-barrier mods. Considering that headshots are loaded back into Polaris Lance immediately, being able to lay down fire for long periods of time on barrier champions could be nice. But as far as ad clear goes, I could definitely think of better options in the energy slot. Next on the list, we've got Telesto, another Destiny 1 classic, and whose catalyst you can find by completing the Legend and Master Lost sectors. Considering you'll probably be doing these to get that interesting new exotic armor, there's a good chance you'll be lucky enough to get this to drop in the meantime. All the catalyst does in this case is add the perk Deeper Pockets, which increases your reserve ammo capacity. Never really a bad thing to have more ammo. With that said, Telesto is already a pretty decent weapon in PvE, but especially PvP. Good range overall, and the projectiles acting as traps is something you'll catch people with a surprising amount of times. Legend of Acrius, next on our list, is the original Leviathan exotic heavy shotgun. Drops its catalyst from the Nightfall Ordeal playlist, so again, this is pretty convenient and something you'll probably get as you play your way through a typical week. I do appreciate that Bungie didn't add some really expensive or time-consuming way to get these catalysts. Having to spend 240 spoils on some of these exotics when you didn't have them in the first place is enough of a beatdown. So anyway, activating the catalyst for Legend of Acrius bumps the magazine from 2 all the way up to 6, as well as significantly increasing reload speed. This catalyst alone makes the gun usable and at some points even meta. Unfortunately, that isn't the case right now, but weapons change all the time and it never hurts having something in the vault that may become meta overnight. And to wrap things up, we are unfortunately going to reach the pinnacle of mediocrity with Skyburner's Oath. This catalyst can be found by playing playlist activities as well, and all it does is add some range. It's a decent chunk of range, but it's hard to care about being able to throw trash further. And that is actually all 9 of the newish catalysts for the season and where to get them. I'd probably go for Izanagi's Burden and Huckleberry first. Those two, along with bad Juju, seem to have the most utility, although picking up Sleep or Simulant in Legend of Acrius may have some use down the road when Bungie decides those weapons need some love. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please subscribe and leave a like. Don't forget to comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.